Alright friends, welcome back to another episode of Psycho for Tackle, and as you can see I have changed my working locale. There are reasons for it that I'm going to leave to myself, and I'm filming things out of sequence, so you'll probably hear the same thing in a later video. But we're continuing on with the RSX4/MRS1, and this time we're going to be doing some underframe details.
From Tyco, of course.
Okay, we're back on our MRS1, and this time we're doing the underframe details. I've taken off the Atlas fuel tank from the RSD4, and I planned to use the fuel tank that came with the kit, but it doesn't fit at all. So I'm going to have to do some modifications to work on that, which gives me a great opportunity to play with my favorite thing, sheet styrene. And how we're going to do this is I've got this little paper cutter, which I got at Walmart for like 16 bucks, so that I can use it to score styrene sheet without making any mess or miscuts. So I'm just going to measure 4 sides and glue this on. So I have to look at some few things. I thought I was going to be able to get away with just filing down these big old air tanks and making it fit on, but for whatever rhyme or reason, it's just too thick to fit on. So I'm just going to make my own tanks, which is nice for this episode because it shows how you can do cutting and scoring of sheet styrene. And I'm going to do my famous measurements here. Okay, I got to figure out where the cutter is. Okay, the cutter is right up here. So I just want to work the line up to the edge. Scroll down like so. Make sure everything is square. And then, okay, that's not going to work. That's too deep. This one's scoring, this one's shallower. Oh yeah, that works. Did I actually score? That didn't score nothing. Looks like I gotta make a few shallow cuts and watch everything move out of the way. Okay. There we go. So I can't make deep cuts like I'm cutting into paper. So I just kind of lay it on top and give it a decent drag for you score. And now I gotta make some more cuts. In theory, this wasn't a bad idea out of my head, but then again, back when I was a kid, they also said Skylab was good in theory. There we go. Put that away for now. Now I haven't decided yet whether I want to use the air tanks that came with the Proto Power West. I think I won't. So I'm going to have to cut the air tanks from the resin shell. Now this is where it's kind of interesting. The resin on these, it's not perfect. Although I think it'll be okay, like, after I paint it. So now we just got to get the stupid glue out. And then, wherever that's hiding, I'm going to put together the fuel tank and put that on. I'm just going to make sure, yeah, it's high enough. Now, there's some interesting flash on this. Oh, this is hard resin. Okay, so this is going to require drastic measures, or, in my case, Dremel measures. Now this resin, and this goes for any sort of model building, when you're doing any sort of filing, sanding, or cutting, a Dremel seems to be my best friend right now. But you got to remember, when you're using a power tool, light strokes make the difference. Also, which is kind of funny, is this higher end. This is a high-end super glue. This is from Loctite. This isn't like the crazy glue that we used to have as kids. At least, you know, in my time frame. Super glue when we were kids bonded stuff like instantaneously. It was like kicking on a magnet. And of course, you know, people would do silly things such as glue their hands together, and they had to weaken up the formula so that didn't happen. Now, super glue is an interesting thing. It was actually a wartime development, so it's kind of fitting with this project. And it was designed to, well, what the warning labels say, it bonds skin instantly. And so it was utilized by the military as something to bond wounds together during the Vietnam War. A little bit of fun history for you. So one thing about moving all your supplies from one workshop to another is the issue of you put it somewhere and then the next day you can't remember where you put it, which has been the case in point of the MEK. However, also with that, you can do a little organizing for projects. The new fuel tank and air tanks have been installed. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on handrails. The basic rule of thumb with handrails, at least for the sides, is to use .15 music wire. And for this, I'm using the Cowstale stanchions, which I bought a whole bunch for the Tyco steamer project, thinking I was going to need more. Now with the early MRS1s, which is what I'm doing, and even a lot of them up until the 1970s, the handrails were on the body like a steam locomotive. These went up, down, and across here. And they went across here. I have to double check my reference photos, but I'm pretty sure that's where they stand. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do our handrail stanchions up along the line here, down, over, and one straight across. And I couldn't really see anything in detail where the stanchions go, so that I'm just going to guess. Also, the fun thing about moving everything back into my little tiny house, I can have coffee. Not to say there wasn't a coffee maker there, but now that I'm a little on a break from working late nights and things like that, I can take the advantage of time very, very seriously. Okay, let's do the switch out drill bits. Good thing I have more. Oh, like why is it not going in? There we go. All right, that's one side. Let's celebrate with a cup of coffee. Alright, now we've got to bend it. You know, when I bend wire, I will use my clamp to hold it where I want to bend it, and then just simply bend it. And this is nice when you're doing just straight angles and stuff like that, because when you're trying to do angled bends, it gets a wee bit more difficult. This end I'm going to secure with super glue. Alright, now we're going to do this to the other side. And later on, in the next couple of days or so, the front and rear handrails will be put on, and then we can decal this unit and we can call it a locomotive. And then we're gonna move on to another one. But until then, I am Psycho for 3D printing. Hey friends, I know you're at the end of the video and all that, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out that if you're in Carson City or any of the surrounding neighborhoods, come on down to Mills Park, where the Carson City Railroad Association, my model railroad club, happens to be at. We've got both HO scale and N scale. We run modular displays. We also have, during the summer months, a 2-foot tourist railroad that kind of goes around half the park. Membership fee is about $35. If you want to run some trains, come on down. Just let us know. Link in the description, and the link is right here at the bottom. And have a good one. I'm Psycho for Tycho. We'll see you next time.